Hi friends. I've since showered and shampooed and conditioned my hair, which is more than 20 inches long. And you will see over to my right shoulder, maybe your left of your screen, is my off the floor wall mounted hooded hair dryer. So this is in my spare bedroom. Where I do all my me related stuff. So I just wanted to show you the process of putting the rollers in if you want to curl up your dreadlocks. Now, excuse the face that's not moisturized, but like I said, I'm just from the bathroom. So anyway, this is one strand of one of my dreadlocks. As you can see, the base of my scalp is has been scrubbed and cleaned ever so gently. It's very important to mostly massage in this sort of like motion all the way to the back, all the way around, and all through the center of your scalp, and not vigorously cause any trauma to the strands of your hair or your scalp for that matter. So the most important thing is to use your whatever choice of locking pomade. I have two that I use. My current one is this one, Cantu, and it's a locking pomade. The other one I import from New York, which I've used for a couple of years up until COVID hit, called Nubian Kinks. So I'm hoping to be able to get back on the bandwagon of using that. It's actually my favorite, but my go-to, which I can find in Melbourne here, is this one. And this one I think is easily accessed all around the world, including Africa. So anyway, moving back to the process. So I would take a little bit, only a little bit. Don't take too much because you don't want to clog your scalp. Neither do you want to clog the base of the twisting point, because that's where any debris of any kind that you experience in the environment will be captured down there. And as a result, within a short time, I wash my hair fortnightly, which is enough for me. And as you can see, it's like a 2 to 3 hour process, especially if you want to get to this stage of curling your hair. So ultimately, you don't want to be in a situation where you've got so much excess pomade that you've used, and it will just sit there and it attracts a lot of dust, and won't look good within a few days. So, and you don't want excess going on your clothes. So basically what I'm simply saying is just use what you need, which is only a bare amount. So you basically grab the base, and I use my fingers. I don't use the combs. I don't use crochet needles. Don't come for me. I've kept my hair from the day it was clipped off. I'll put the link down below of my slide PowerPoint of my progression of how I've grown my hair. So this is what's worked for me, and this is about how I do look after my hair. And I've done all this by myself, never ever gone to a hairdresser to do anything for me. And to be very honest, there's nobody who can look after my hair better than myself that is available in Melbourne. So please put a comment down below if you know someone who does just as well a job, because there are times I would love to have a break, but I know what it takes to keep my hair safe and to grow better. And I just haven't gotten to a point where, number one, come across anybody who does it as well. Number two, whether I can trust someone to manage my hair exactly the way I'd like it to be done. So moving back to the twisting process. So what you do is you then carry on. It's not easy to get rid of any stray away hairs, because it is natural. It's not relaxed hair as it is. So you do the best you can. You twist it all the way to the end, and then using one of these perm rods is what we used to call them growing up in Zambia, and I think they are available in most salon supply places or online. And you start from the top like that, holding the tip like that. And actually, hang on, I prefer when it looks like this to trim the end of my hair. So that's gone, just so that I can get a a better twist. So a little bit more pomade just there, and off I go. So that's it. So I'm holding on to the end and over and under and over and under. Anybody who's ever done this before knows how that goes, but you just have to get that knot right at the start, and you keep twisting all the way up. For the length of my hair, which is more than 22 inches long, this tightly wound up does just make it to not have to overlap, and that is what you do. So that keeps it intact, and I'll do the same for all my 64 locks. Yes, I have 64 locks. They are, you know, small to medium in thickness, so I do like my personal result of what my dreadlock size is. If it's too big, some of these hairstyles are difficult to achieve. If they're too small, they tend to be a bit fragile and break off as your hair starts to grow and have more weight on them as they grow longer. So it's so much easier to have dreadlocks that are too tiny to break off as they grow longer. So if you have a choice and you're right at the start of your journey of having dreadlocks, I would strongly advise you to have a medium, small to medium, would be more pliable to do all sorts of things with your hair. But if you like natural locks that are unmolded, that's you, perfect. But if you're looking for something like similar to me, being able to do all sorts of things with your hair other than just tie it back or tie it in a ponytail or let it loose, you need to have a pliable thickness of a dreadlock that you can actually work with for the life of your experience of having or sustaining this hairstyle. So, you know, it's a passion of mine, and it didn't come by any automatic decision. I suffered the repercussions of not having the standard of hairdressing that I grew up being accustomed to, because of course we had plentiful, when I say we, anyone who's from their home country has access to hairdressers that can do everything for you. Migrating to Australia 17 years ago opened the my mind to appreciating what I took for granted, being able to go once, twice a week to the hairdresser and exactly what I want is done for me. I had to now self-teach, learn what to do with my own hair, and this is why I'm opening up this channel. It's 17 years late, but it's been 17 years of research, put it that way. So what I'm imparting or putting in these videos is basically my lessons learned, and I would love for everyone who does come across my videos to put comments down below to just share what they have experienced and whatever tips and tricks you might have up your sleeve, because this is a platform for people to learn from each other. So thanks a lot for staying tuned, and more slides will be able to capture you know, what else that have been doing. All right, thanks. Hi friends, I thought before I go through the process of finishing off the rest of my head, I should share first of all my process, the tools I use, and just that I haven't done this in years, to be very honest. I was estimating 20 inches from my earlier clip would be my rough length of my hair. So I will measure. I've got my husband's building tape, believe it or not. So as you can see, this is an untwisted portion. So I very ever so gently put it there. Then I'll stand up and go all the way in front of you to, if it will cooperate, somewhere there. I'm just locking the tape itself so it's a bit more stable. So anyway, if my camera here will allow, you can see it's gone past the 60 centimeter mark. That's 23 inches, and it's all the way to, I have to let go of the top. I'm doing this all by myself, so it's a bit hard to do it. That's 74, and 74 centimeters is roughly 29 inches. is the rough estimate, and I'm standing at this point in order for my whole strand to be measured. So bringing all my dreadlocks to the front, you can see they go all the way. This is a pocket, so it goes all the way to my back. I'll say, bring it back to the back, not sure whether you can see much there, but yeah, that's all of about 30 inches long are my current dreadlocks. I've been growing them for the last 10 years, this past January 2nd. So roughly 2012 is when, to be exact, 2012 is December, just after Christmas, before New Year's. My husband went with clippers all the way to the base of my scalp and I had nothing. I will create a PowerPoint, like I said before, that will show you me not having any hair and me being able to grow it to 30 inches now. All of it self-cared for. I had my sister-in-law assist with the partitioning. Obviously, I don't have eyes at the back of my head, and that was basically it. I had to nurture it, grow it, learn from many numerous sources on the internet, wonderful people who've been able to teach me along the way, and my self-determination, of course, to keep things going up until I've gotten to this stage. So 10 years anniversary, I thought it makes me an expert of doing my hair for 10 years for a minimum of twice a month and trialing all sorts of products. And speaking of products, I'll move on to showing you what I use. So I'll just bring my hair back to the front because my back is getting a bit moist. So in regards to shampooing, I've explained it's important for you to just be ever so gentle, circular motion, have enough time to do it. Don't do it in a hurry. You tag it the wrong way, remove all your jewelry. I'm not wearing my wedding rings when I'm doing my hair because it'll be all tangled in there. So you just don't want jewelry, bangles, watches. Take that all out off because you don't want your hair being caught up in any of that. So you shampoo. I'm not particular about shampoos per se. I would say go ahead and use the best brand that you feel is agreeable with your hair. And then the next step that is different, you will find there are many people on the internet who will insist that people with dreadlocks shouldn't. I'm different, and once again, my choice. I prefer to condition because I think the principles behind conditioning hair is to keep it soft, and African hair is extremely frizzy. So in the meantime, to tame it and to keep it not so brittle, because it's prone to being brittle because it's extra dry. We don't have any oils in our bases of the base of our hair coming through like Caucasians do. We don't have that. We actually have to take products and put them in. So that's a number one major difference. Our hair is not straight. It's very curly. The curls will vary from one type of DNA to another. Even amongst 100% African people, we will have different textures of hair. My husband, who also has dreadlocks and has had them for more than 20 years, and I've maintained them. So I must say, I suppose I've had 20 years experience of looking after hair because before I actually had my own, which have lasted me 10 years so far, I've been the main person looking after my husband's hair as well. So I can safely say, reminding myself, I've had 20 years experience of looking after dreadlocks. Topic of products that I use. Speaking of my husband, his texture of hair is very sort of like, I would say thick and coarse. Mine is medium in terms of thickness and soft. So the products that we would use for dreadlocking would be very different for that reason alone. I prefer not to use petroleum-based beeswax. Anything that's termed beeswax has petroleum in it. And, you know, it's sort of like the Vaseline's base. I prefer not to have that in my head in the process of, you know, in my experience of using dreadlocks, because I found that the texture of my hair doesn't need that to lock. Naturally, you can see the evidence is here. I haven't used petroleum-based ones. I've always used water-based lock pomades. As a result, that retains moisture and actually promotes healthy growth. So basically, getting back to the point, the petroleum-based ones, my husband's choice of use would be this one. which is a molding gel. Well, I think the brand name is Style Dreads. So it's just an example, something we have in the bathroom. But our day-to-day one that he's used for years and years, even when we went back home in Zambia, is Beeswax by Jabu Stone. I believe it's a South African product that's exported all around the world. So that's popular amongst us Africans or Zambians. I can speak for myself. And it works well, and it's fine for people with thick to coarse hair like my husband does. Too much for me, and as a result, as a means of trying to avoid that clogging of hair that I speak of, I prefer to use the water-based pomades, which are like a lotion. So it actually gives you that pliability, and it just feels light on the scalp, in my opinion. So I like with Cantu, that is readily available in Melbourne, and from the online presence, it appears to be available or accessible in most parts of the world. I also use the conditioning, just a normal Cantu conditioner that you just put in, few minutes, rinse out. Or when I'm in the process of doing what I'm doing here, not that I strictly use it all the time, is a leave-in conditioner. That obviously means you just add it on and leave it in. That's what that simply means. And if you like, which also does extend a little bit your time in your dryer, is a curling cream. And you have these for everyone who combs their hair as well. You can use exactly the same product, conditioner, for the conditioners, I mean. So I'll add this sometimes, but not always. It doesn't make things that much different. Now, like I said before, stray hairs are part of our DNA in terms of African hair. You tend to have a lot of flyaway hairs. So gel does help. Now, gel is very difficult to shop for, in the sense that a lot of producers out there will have gel and you think it's just hair gel that anyone can use. You go ahead and use it. Within a couple of hours, once it dries, it starts to flake away. And that's a very bad look. It actually looks like dandruff, which is the worst. Nobody wants to have that in their hair. So thumbs down for anything that does that. From my true and tested, Cantu make a great gel. Any of the mixes, the plain one, this one has like a grape seed supplement and has sort of like a grape scent to it as well. It doesn't take away from the clear finish that it gives you. Once again, quantity is important to watch. You don't want to over apply. For me, a little goes a long way with all these products. I don't overuse, but do you? Not instructing you on measurements, but it's just a little bit of advice. So that's what I would use to finish up the job when, if I feel I need a bit of those hairs tamed down, sort of thing. So anyway, that's basically what I do use. Now, my main instruments for using my hair, like I said, my hands. So no jewelry, rings off, watches off, bangles, everything out. If you can help it, I'm a nurse, so I basically keep my nails short. I only do them up for special occasions, so don't necessarily have nails to worry about. If you do, I'm sure you're used to them and you can work your way around that. The idea is just to make sure you have as little around your most important tools, which are your hands, to cling your hair to cling onto and cause any breakages, because you want to be free and be able to get the base and do what you need to do. The one comb that comes in handy is a comb like this one, and this sort of comb, which has a little sharp point there. It allows for you to sort of like part your hair if you want to sort of like straighten out some of the bases there. Don't use it much, but if I did need a comb, that's the maximum I would use. You would notice that this one actually has this little edge that's open, which I find to be great when you're just trying to partition those spaces. So it's not all the same like the rest of it, but you have the top end that gives you a bit of room to not have anything tangled once again, because you're not looking to comb your hair, you're looking to partition it. So that's my favorite comb. You can buy this at any local chemist. It's just a matter of looking at the comb properly and just examining it. This one is called Main Jane, is what it's called. So anyway, that's the sort of comb that you would be looking to use with retouching your hair or retwisting your dreadlocks. The other thing that I value so much when your hair starts to get dry, like it is right now, because I'm trying to film as I'm doing every stage, you moisten it. My first bottle that I used, that I came across, was this. Prior to having this over the years, I've used just an average, spray bottle that I'll just buy from any hairdressing shop or supermarket. But then you never ever get the right mist. Some of them don't give you much variety, but ever since these came on the market, I've been a big lover of these bottles. Plentiful. There's this little one here, which is all opaque. You can't really see the level of the water, but you can feel it, of course. Just twist open, and that's the special pump there that allows for you to be able to spray your hair at the desired mist, if you see that, which is fantastic. And it just gives you just enough moisture to keep going, because you need the moisture to be there within your hair as you twist. If you feel your hair is getting dry, spray it, because that way you don't break your hair as you are twisting. Even if it's just a normal retouch without the curls, you need to keep your hair moist in order for you to twist and let it dry with your lock pomade at the base. You can twist all the way to the end. It's entirely up to you. I just have, in my 10 years of managing my own hair, I've never needed to twist my hair all the way to the bottom. Not particularly. I will sparingly use some curling pomade, like I said before, and some leave-in conditioner that I'll sparingly apply. A little goes a long way. But the rest of it is, the focus is on the base and just having that twisting motion all the way down to try and tame those stray hairs. So having a good spray bottle, something like this, you can find on eBay, Amazon, the local supermarket. They are readily available for less than $5. So that's great. And then, separate topic, I will talk about my growth oil. You will see in the light here, it appears a bit dark green. It's a mix of a lot of science-based, evidence-based ingredients that I'm able to buy from an organic source, a supplier, and I mix my own. And from the time I lost all my hair to my husband's clippers, I have used this, and this has been able to grow my hair in a healthy way, so that my hair doesn't appear like it's breaking off. All my strands are almost even in terms of length, and I've never lost any dreadlock from being ill managed because of all these things put together. So what I'm just trying to promote here is a lot of self-care, a lot of gentle care. When you have family and children home to look after, spare that one day in a fortnight for yourself. If it has to be when everyone's gone to bed, let it be. If you have space like I do, where I've got a room that I've decided to dedicate to myself, I've got my hooded hair dryer there. I just sit there, have little headphones in, watch something for an hour and a half. Could be a movie, and you can sit there quietly and give your hair some love, because I can assure you, when you invest the time, it actually shows. Because when you don't care for your hair, it actually shows once again. So if you want to achieve something, just apply yourself. Just like any facet of our lives, you want to achieve something. At the moment, we're talking about good hair, health of your hair. You need to put in the time, put in the energy, a little bit of money to buy all these things that don't cost a lot of money, an arm and a leg. A product like that will last you over a year. It's all about using it sparingly, and it's not sparingly to disadvantage the benefits of your hair. It's about using what you need and not in excess, because excess doesn't necessarily mean you will have more being delivered down your scalp, so that your hair is supported with his growth. So basically, that's what I wanted to explain. I thought I've missed out a big part by showing you how to curl your hair, which is important. But I thought it would be important for me to speak a little bit more about what is required in order for us to get to this point. And the next scene that I'll show you is when I'm completely done with my head of hair, having rolled everything up. And then after an hour after being in my hooded dryer over there, find a comfortable chair like this one that I'm sitting on, which I'll just roll across the back of this room, turn it on, and off I go. Hi friends, so as you can see, I'm on my last strand. Almost done with my whole head. So it's the very last one that I'm just rolling up. I've been moistening right through the whole time, making sure my hair retains its elasticity, and low risk of breakage from trying to twist or roll up dreadlocks that are dry. So this is pretty much it, the very last one, and but that's all done. All right, so this is it. So now I'll get my little Bluetooth headpieces that just fit right into my ears and sit in the dryer for an hour, just right in the back over there, and I'll show you the after once it's dry and the process of taking all the rods out. Thanks, guys. Hello friends, the hair is done, as you can see, all complete. So I'll just show you once again, no jewelry on your hands if you can help it, and very ever so carefully take one perm rod out, and you will see this is all after an hour, by the way. Sorry, I didn't mention that in the beginning. An hour stay in the hooded dryer. So you see that? So that's the whole head. So unless you want them to be completely droopy right at the start, because that's your aim with a certain style you are looking for, I prefer to take them out very gently so I can leave them as tight as possible, giving me time to decide on what I want to do to begin with. I tend to work my way out, if you want to put it that way, because what I do is I work with my tight curls for a day, 2, 3, 4 days. I'll show you my sleeping gear in the next clip that I use to keep things as intact as possible. None of it is uncomfortable, but you know, works for me. And then as the curls start to wear down due to moisture, rain out there, and that sort of thing, and of course tossing and turning as you sleep, by the week's end, I imagine my spirals would be hanging a bit lower, and then I style it differently once again to suit that, up until my curls are completely gone and I've just got the natural straight locks, which, because I work as a nurse, I keep away from my face mostly. So basically we'll move on from there to show you some styles that you can have your hair in when you've finished with your process of retouching, washing and retouching your hair. Okay, so I'll show you in the next segment when I'm done removing all the perm rods. Okay, thank you. Hi, so the process took me, strictly speaking, it's 2 hours. It probably took me closer to 3 because I'm multitasking, cooking in the kitchen, going back and forth and checking on everything while I've got the moment of having the house to myself to be able to do this for you guys. So yeah, I was trying to multitask as usual. But if you're seated with no other distractions, you should be able to start and finish to get to this stage within 2 hours. If it's just a wash and twist base, which will be in another video for you to see what that looks like as well, excuse me, that would be done in an hour. That's washing and twisting. Twisting takes me half an hour. Washing will take me half an hour as well. So that's why I say it's an hour. That being said, there are times when you just need to neaten up, which is within that fortnight. After a week of tossing and turning in bed, you feel your edges are not as neat as you would like. You just go ahead and use that pomade I was speaking of, showing you in the beginning, and that just gives you a little bit of a retouch to extend to that full fortnight before you need to wash again. So guys, this is something that you have to do if it's an actual passion of yours. It can be painstaking to have your hands up there, to be able to do whatever you need to do. But look, I keep myself motivated, looking forward to the end product. Dreadlock maintenance is, in Australia anyway, I'm not sure about other first world countries. Please put a comment down below what your local loctician charges you. But the ones that we've been able to ask in the early days before I took it upon myself to teach myself when we first migrated, and like I said, my husband has had them for over 20 years. I had to start the journey with his hair, and he was quoted some 14-15 years ago. He was quoted roughly, you know, $600, $700, $800 in some places. So over 10 years ago at that price,
it could very easily be double that today. And clearly I'm saving myself a lot of money, and that's just for straight, locking of the base of your dreadlocks, for the undergrowth being twisted and retouched. So you can only imagine if you had to ask, oh, could you put some rollers on my hair and style it, that's another $500. It's ridiculous. But anyway, I personally don't have to worry about that, and I'm hoping you being able to watch and follow me with these videos, you will be able to empower yourself if you choose to either go ahead and have dreadlocks with your own natural hair, or you might learn to maintain what you've got. So I hope this has been helpful. Please, click like and do subscribe to our channel, because that encourages me to continue creating more videos related to this. I'm a nurse, so I like to share about nursing, and being a migrant, I'd like to talk about migration as well, and everything in between, just life in Australia. Any topics that you would like to know about, just put a comment down below. Hi friends, I'm back just to show you that I do moisturize. Given my previous post shower and shampoo over my hair, the focus was on my head, but I just wanted to make sure that to show you that I don't forget my face. Mine is just to wash my hair, wash my face with my chosen cleansers. My go-to in the evening, given now it's bedtime, is Garnier. And just to prove to you that I don't use any foundation, I will wet this, and as it's soaked, I'll just go through over here ever so firmly, just to prove to you that I don't use any foundation whatsoever. Now this lovely attire I've got here on my head is one of my prototypes of hair protection overnight. It definitely protects your hairline, making sure that your hairline is nicely preserved and doesn't eat into your hair bed, making you lose your precious edges, nice and healthy. And the satin just allows for it to just glide against your hair without getting caught up and causing any trauma, and giving you the freedom to toss and turn without any worry that it will come off, because it's very firm but it's not tight. So it allows for your hair to breathe. The edges are kept intact, and your hair is given the freedom to go back and forth. So like in this instance, I can move it this way and it's all good. So this is me signing off. The next video will have the multiple styles that after you've had your spirals put in, you can end up completing your look with the next video that I'll upload. Thank you so much for listening to my channel, and I hope that it has been helpful. And if you like it, do make a thumbs up and subscribe. Thanks.